WMQM AM 1600 on your radio dial. And the number to call if you want to make a comment, raise a question, 901-327-3400, because we have guest speakers who are exciting, interesting, fascinating, knowledgeable, and thought-provoking. Right here we debate all of the issues. We take position, define, and defend those positions. We offer analysis. We present solutions to the problem that we face in the African American community. You can see our show on YouTube as well. Tune in. Check with us. Provide leadership. Vox Populi, the voice of the people. In the studio with me today, we have Brother Talut El-Amin, a brother with a wealth of experience. And wealth is wealth. That means a lot of it. That's what wealth is. Next to Brother Talut, Brother Omar Baruti from Memphis, Kwanzaa Internatonal. Another brother with wealth and information. Plenty of wealth at the table. Expertise and knowledge. And to my right, Brother Jabril Shabazz.
Peace, brother.
Yes, sir. I wasn't there, but I can imagine.
Sure.
Marcus Garvey said, "Where are your schools?" And brother said, "Here's one right here. Located at Lauderdale and Parkway Teaching and Learning Institute." Also, we have Brother Paul Outlaw. Yeah, I like that Outlaw thing, but you're Kakai as well, is that right? Outlaw. Homeopathic Researcher. And today, we are talking, our topic today is a question. Is there a need for a new political party in Memphis? And I want to go first to Brother Talut El-Amin. I want you to crank up this machine, and let's get started, and let's come on around the table. Let's put it on blast and move with the quickness.
Thank you, Brother Reed.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks to your audience.
Yes.
Of course, absolutely. We need another political party, without doubt. Now, and my thinking is, there's very little wrong with the Shelby County Democratic Party, of which most African Americans are members of.
Yeah.
Okay, but as far as Memphis, Tennessee is concerned, a city that's in the county of Shelby, Memphis needs a political agenda. We need a party whose of which its sole responsibility is to advance African American people's causes. Okay, everybody else's causes are being met. Our causes are not being met at all, zero. So we have to come together as a group of people with a platform that advance our causes and our will. And the only way we're going to do that is have a fundamental or basic concept about where we're going and why we want to get there, which is politics. Okay.
And also how.
Yeah, and how, which is politics. Okay. So the previous system hasn't worked for us at all. Okay, we've not gotten anything out of the political system that we have today. Okay, we've only gotten imprisonment. Okay, we've gotten crime on top of crime and on top of crime. Okay, so we have to address this ourselves, and the best way to do it is come together, create a party, okay, a political party, and also become very much more active in the Shelby County Democratic Party. So you have a county party, but we need a city party, okay? And we can't rely on the county party to do what we want to do, because the people who always become members of that party always do what they want you to do.
Okay.
So we have to take part, we have to become very, very active politically in the Shelby County Democratic Party, which most African Americans are part of, and we have to create our own city party.
Okay.
It could be Memphis Democratic Party or Memphis Blue Party. It doesn't make any difference. We need to create a party because, again, we need to advance our causes in the city of Memphis, of which we are over 65% of the population in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, in a lot of ways, you're saying essentially the same thing Dr. Richmond just got through talking about in terms of challenging the political leadership here in Memphis. I want to go to you now, Brother Baruti. The question.
Yes, sir. Give me the question again.
Is there a need for a new political party in Memphis, Tennessee? Is there a need for that?
You know, Jewish people probably make up less than 5% of the voting population in Memphis, and yet they control 95% of the economics in Memphis. And they don't have a party, but they control the parties that do exist. And if you look at the United States Congress, when they want to give money to other countries, the Jewish nation of Israel is at the top of the list. And they ain't got no party, except, and if you look at Obama's White House and previous presidents before him, they make up much of the cabinet of the presidential administration. And that's because they have economic power. If you look at the 5 centers of media influence, they're controlled by Jewish people. They control what you see, what you hear on the airwaves. They control what you believe and what you think in the movies, because they have economic power. You don't even have to vote if you got money, because you're going to buy the politician to do whatever you want him to do. The first thing we got to do is get our economics together, and then everything else will fall into place. Party or no party. Even the Tea Party. If you ain't with the Jewish party, your Tea Party ain't going to be there too long.
Okay. Yeah, I hear some nuances, but those details we can work out going forward. Sister Christian, Kirk has joined us. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And jump in there. Tell us what is going on, what we need to do.
You know, I hear a lot of very, very important information being said. I want to go back to what you said about Jewish political power. And the thing that we can't underestimate is the fact that Jewish people and no other race of people in general has the issue of battling against people actually not wanting them to advance at all. You know, I mean, well, I'm not going to say no other people in any other country, but I think that's unique to African Americans in the United States. So when we compare ourselves to other groups that are able to climb up in political power and social power, I think we underestimate that. And what we have to do is start to get people to empathize and understand what the plight is of the African American in Memphis. Talut, you mentioned understanding what the issues are and creating a political party to address the issues in the African American community. One issue is that we don't really know. There's not been anybody to lay out all of the issues of the African American community to build a platform on that, and I think that needs to be done first. When people understand what the issues are, then we can start to galvanize people behind that. But until we completely understand, I'm not talking about the blanket statements like, oh, poverty, and you know, those are huge statements, but breaking it down to the little bites that people can understand. What are our issues? How can we combat that? And I think then we can start to galvanize people and change things. And I don't think a political party necessarily is necessary to do that. But I think we can start to make change by infiltrating the systems that already exist and creating that change for ourselves.
Okay, thank you. Jabril.
Yes, sir. My thing is, you know, I'm an economic person. And I believe, kind of like Brother Omar just stated, that before you can move anything about power, you're going to have an economic base. You know, because power in the Western world, which is a capitalistic structure, power is revenue, money, banks. You know, you got to be a part of the flow. I understand that multicultural kind of approach to things. You know, whereas that, you know, you can infiltrate organizations, this kind of thing, but we've been doing that for about 80 or 90 years now. You know, and hadn't gotten us across the street yet.
Yeah, that's
you
an
know,
important distinction.
so sometimes you have to step back, reassess things.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, now, priority number 1 and priority number 2. You know, the only thing that we hadn't accomplished in America since we've been here is a concentrated economic base.
That's right.
We haven't accomplished that. That should be on the front burner. That should be number 1 as we move forward, is that concentrated economic base that we can spawn and grow we can spawn it horizontally and grow it vertically.
Yes.
But what's preventing that, I guess?
Well, it's a mindset. You know, just like the brother said, you know, you know, when you being controlled by media and by a whole bunch of other kind of things that playing in the minds of black folk, just as such as power. I mean, politics. You know, you got a Democratic Party, you got a Republican Party, you got a Tea Party, you got a this, you got a that, you got all these different dynamics playing out against the minds of a people that's impoverished. So they don't know what road to take because they're not in power. Economics going to put us in power. You know, we don't have to. How many rabbis you know?
None.
And you ain't gonna know none. But we know Reverend here, and Reverend yonder, and Reverend over yonder, and we still haven't got, you see what I'm saying? See, we don't have to be known. If we have the economic base that's gonna fuel our power for us, we don't have to be known. We can be behind the wall like the so-called Jewish people.
That work from behind the scenes.
You don't
The
see
strategy and tactics.
They ain't telling no pickets, no.
Let me get Brother Paul in here.
My personal opinion is that the system doesn't work for us. I mean, we can go on and extrapolate on what things may happen. The bottom line is that when we get leaders in the office, we have to deal with the fact that there are people who are economically empowered that will change the decision-making process of our leaders. We have to find a way to develop economically so that when our people are in office, they're not swayed to make decisions that don't affect us as a people. The system is broke. I mean, I heard Brother Baruti talking about the Jews in this country. They don't have a political party, but they have $5 billion a year given to the state of Israel.
Yes.
So that means that economics is the root, is the foundation that we have to work on. We have to start deciding that there are certain steps and certain measures we need to take in order to effect change in this system. The system doesn't work. We realize that there are manners in which we can actually make progress in this system through economics. And if we don't focus on those economics, our fight is for naught.
Okay. Brother Talut,
Yes.
response.
Well,
I'm sure you heard the varying nuances.
yeah, we have to be multifaceted.
Okay.
There's no question about that. We can't just focus in one direction, lead another direction alone, and then focus in direction 5 and lead direction 6 alone.
Okay.
We have to be able to see in a broad scope of what our conditions are and how we need to address them. Now, there's one thing about politics. You don't have to call your collective thinking a party. There's a collective thinking among the Jewish people. There's a collective thinking among all ethnicities. Okay, they have a goal, they have ambition, they have a drive. And politics is one way that they achieve their goals. Okay, now, for an example, as I mentioned earlier, there is a Shelby County Democratic Party that covers the whole county, right? But there's also a Germantown Democratic Party, okay? And there are other parties in cities outside of Memphis, okay? And they get out there and they determine what their agendas are, and they come back and influence the bigger party with their dollars, okay? But they have a common goal, they have a common ambition, they have a common drive of what they want as a people in their cities and towns. I'm saying that as African American people, we don't have that. See, we see ourselves in the city of Memphis as the Democratic Party, but we're not. We're a city. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? We are a city of Memphis doesn't have a party that addresses its concern. Okay? And that's why politicians are always voting in office, and they don't give a damn about what happens to the inner city people, because the inner city people doesn't have a voice. Okay? The inner city people don't get involved in politics other than putting the damn lever on anybody. They don't care who it is. They don't know if there's a slate of candidates on the ballot,
Super ballot.
right? They don't have to know not one in an office. Not one candidate that's going into an office, they're going there and just guess. So we can't do that. Okay? And then if there are people on the ballot for an office, we don't even like them. They haven't done anything, we still vote for them. Because there's no direction. There's no one who has grabbed the handle of leadership to say, this is what we should be thinking as a people. Nobody. Nobody want to address it.
Now, my mind is being interpolated with about 3 questions. And that is, when we look out the political, we see politicians in office. And it appears that they are doing things for themselves and their friends and their loved ones. So that's one observation. The question becomes, is politics a reality in the city of Memphis that should be addressed? Politics?
Yeah.
Or are we talking about words here when it comes to politics that still should be reality, should be addressed in terms of it, but the overriding concern should be economics? Hit that and then Baruti.
Quickly. Politics is a process of harnessing information and knowledge to move into the future. I mean, that's all it's about. It's about where you're going in the future. The politics is about the future. And that's it.
Okay.
It's nothing else. So, if you're not engaged in your future, then what are you engaged in?
Okay. Well, that's kind of somewhat of an obvious answer. If you're
Absolutely.
not, yes, it's somewhat of an obvious answer. Now, I hear Dr. Claude Anderson talking about politics and talking about not playing with these people, talking about demanding what you want from this politician. Here's what you will do. In other words, I hear him talking about, I get the point about the economics, because I hear him talking about, we can buy a politician. Let's buy a politician. This is some strong talk that I hear. Talk about that for me, Brother Baruti. Politics, buying politics, placing demands on the politician, or eliminating the word party or politics, period, and doing what you need to do. And then let's go on around the table.
You know, I was the keynote speaker at the Tate County NAACP meeting, and at that meeting we had the mayor of Holly Springs, Mississippi, Brother Andre DeBerry, come, and he said he had tried to get the politicians in Marshall County to come together and rally around some issues that affected the people of Marshall County. And even though it was paid for, you know, for them to come and sit down and chew and talk, when they came, they made a party out of it. They didn't have any concern about the issues of the community because he found they had been bought off by other special interest groups. Mm-hmm. Now, politicians, most of the ones I know of have been bought and paid for. And the ones that actually stand up for the people are being assassinated. Like Dale Washington in Chicago.
The real was right.
Yeah.
But you
and
make me think about something.
Lumumba in Jackson, Mississippi.
Do we need to buy a few?
We might need to buy a few.
Put a few in the pocket.
Yeah,
put some in the bag.
Yeah,
in the layaway.
We might need to do that. But the Jewish people, you know, what they look at is they don't care who wins the election, as long as they control what they do.
Yeah.
It's all about having a puppet in power where you pull the strings.
Yeah.
You put a black man up there, Obama's up there, but he can't do nothing.
Right.
Because somebody else pulling his strings. He thought he could pull his own strings.
Right.
Then he realized, even though he in the seat of power, he ain't got no power.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the politicians are there, but we got to be behind the scenes.
Okay.
Making things happen for our people.
Okay.
Not our people, but our people.
Okay, very good. I want to talk more about, we don't have time here, we only have about 11 minutes. I want to talk more about this assassination thing, perhaps next week. But I hear the lack of education among African Americans. I hear this apathetic thing going on. And I see the politicians, all they do is put some signs up, and then what you said, the few who go in, just pull levers and punch buttons. Does that mean that they are not educated, they're just groping in the dark and doing something?
Absolutely.
African Americans.
So many of us are uneducated about who our leadership is. But I think, again, going back to what he was talking about, pulling the strings, that it absolutely goes back to economics. In order to be able to be effective lobbyists to pull the strings behind the curtains, we have to have independent income and independent revenue, because any movement can be quelched when somebody else is paying your check.
Yes.
And you say you work at a warehouse and you talk, your boss finds out you're working for some political party or you're involved in a political party that's against his interests. It's easy for him to cut you off. So I think the things that we need to start focusing on, and one of the issues, like Brother Sue, what you were saying, that we need to focus on is where our revenue streams come from and how to have those independently. A lot of things that are presented to us in media and in politics as being good for the black community, for instance, legalizing marijuana, we don't look at the economic impact that that would actually have on our community. They did the same thing with, prohibition with alcohol, with tobacco.
Yes.
Blacks had revenue streams in there that they were able to support themselves on, and when they legalized it, they were cut out of those systems. You know they're not going to be having legalized medical marijuana joints for black folks. You know they're not going to be in charge of control of those. So that's a revenue stream that's being cut off that was independent. I'm not saying that I support that revenue stream, but we have to think about where our money is coming from and how to have more of that independently. I say that one of our agendas needs to be supporting entrepreneurship, trying to figure out the best strategies and best practices to have our own money that we can employ others by, and so that's how we get our power.
Yes.
Jabril.
So true. You know, if you have a political party, and if it serves you, you don't need another. But if you got a political party that doesn't serve you, then you need another.
That's right.
You know, if you're gonna have a political party.
Okay.
But you know, this thing go on 2 or 3 tracks at it, all in concert with each other. You know, the economics, the politics, because now politics to me is that interlocking mechanism how things get done in the political arena. You know, how you get it done, whether it be hook or crook. If you got money over here, then you pull the string there. If you got just people power over here, you pull the string there. If you got other kinds of interlocking structures, where you can influence. Then you do that. That to me is how politics move a system. But in this system that we live in, which is highly racist, and it's a system that doesn't cater to who we are. And the reason for that is because we got people that in key positions that don't represent themselves, so therefore they can't represent me.
That's right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So, we got, it's like Clarence Thomas sits on the Supreme Court.
Yes.
He don't care nothing about him.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, he don't even understand the system of America, how he's sitting there
That's right.
with a robe on, really being humiliated.
That's right. That's right.
He don't even have a sense of that.
No.
Just like the people who go to the ballot box and get ready to cast that ballot, they don't have a sense of who on that ballot.
That's right.
Some couple of politicians get financed by people over there somewhere, and they put out a super ballot, and they ain't running through the churches and running through the streets and this kind of thing, and how people go there and push that legal for it.
That's right.
Because they don't know the criteria involved in how a system moves. So therefore they're absent of that. So
Consequences.
yeah, surely, because we came close to a political party in this city called the People's Convention. And we moved in the seat of power. But the people who were functioning in the seat of power disbanded that vehicle they got in there.
Yeah.
Just came out and abandoned it. I don't want this no more.
Right. There's no need for it
Because
anymore.
this don't certify the powers that be.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be sitting in the seat of power, and I can't certify as the power. But your power that put me there is irrelevant.
Yeah. Right.
I'm looking at, man, you're a doctor degree, and you got a brain that's telling you that the vehicle got you there is not sufficient.
That's right.
That man, I don't want to, like my mom used to, I want to go up in flames.
Paul.
I'm a proponent that the system doesn't work, but if we have to use it,
Break it down.
we can't remain dormant. First we have to recognize who's in place that's not serving us as a people. Okay, we can start off with Steve Cohen's. We had $38 million allotted to the city through his hands, and our people don't know that he placed money on Broad Street, the Elvis Presley Foundation, or whatever you want to call it, and other facets of the city, and not one dime in the inner city. Our people, we need to start first by teaching our people, or holding these people accountable by sharing with our people what they've done. And if anybody's heard this message today on the air, they shouldn't vote for Steve Cohen because he's not doing for us.
Right.
Okay.
Just because his name
Okay.
has been there for 16 years doesn't mean he's doing us any justice.
We're coming down close. We've got 5 minutes, and I hear several important things. That is self-appreciation for self, that is economics and education. We've got 4 minutes between us. Talut.
Well, I propose that we have a men's meeting citywide, that we come together as men of the city of Memphis, and then we determine how we're going to approach our political life, our economic life, in our other lives, social lives, all of it. Okay, we can do that. Okay, even if we just have this meeting in Bellevue Park, it doesn't matter. Okay, but men only.
You have a tentative date in mind?
No.
She laughed.
No.
I mean, why men only though?
Men only. Because men are the legs of society.
Let's not hash it out
Okay.
right here today. We've
Right.
got-
So what
I
I'm
wanna
saying
get
is this. I'm
the
saying
rest
this.
of you all in.
That if the men get together, plot the course for our families in the direction we need to go into the 21st century. That is a duty that rests on our shoulders and nobody else in the
Proposal.
city of County.
We've got 3 minutes. Brother Baruti, self-appreciation for oneself, economics and education.
The key to everything is going to be economics. I don't care how you slice it. But and you got to lay that as a basis for any civilized society. And you can build from there. But economics has to be the floor. And without economics, you go nowhere. If you look at any community in this country, the Japanese, the Koreans, the Mexicans, they all got an economic floor that they stand on. And that's why you don't see them protesting in front of the White House for jobs. They ain't protesting for all this equality stuff. They ain't doing that.
When do you propose we have our first meeting?
We need, for which?
We said for which? The proposition. Your deal. Are you in agreement?
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
Yes.
We can talk about it later.
Yes.
Sister Christian Kirk, response, please.
I would say the answer is independent revenue to address economics, education, about ourselves and about the political system, and involvement in the politics in your communities in whatever ways you can get involved to make any small difference on any level in your community.
I'm happy with you after the show to write that down. Jabril.
Brother, my answer is always the same. It's about economics.
Economics.
Our
all right.
culture is our economics, and our economics is our culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of time.
Well,
We've got 2 minutes.
well, I would like
We
to
can
say,
wage the revolution in 2 minutes.
I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
All
So
right.
what I'm about to say now is going to probably put a spin on this whole conversation today. You know, they started off breaking our families down by attacking our women. So we should no longer buy into doing things without our women being involved. Because I'm a firm believer that if we're going to get any answers, we're going to have to do it collectively. They tore us down with not the Jim Crow laws, but the Willie Lynch letter, showing us what they needed to do to our women to keep us divided, so we will always be in a position where we're not unified. So by this being Mother's Day, I'd just like to say that we need to make sure that our women are included, because we have to do this decision-making collectively.
I agree.
The meeting that he's proposing, you recommend that it not be a men's only meeting, that women are included in this meeting? Is that your
Well, no,
proposition?
I'm like Malcolm X. By any means necessary.
Okay.
But at some point, we need to make sure we include our women.
At some point.
I think you
Okay.
can't omit the fact that most of the men that you're going to be inviting were raised solely by women. So you're going to have women involved. I mean, that's what you're going to be bringing together anyway.
So, back to you, close it out for us, Brother Talut.
Well, the men's meeting is essential and it's necessary. It's the same thing men do all over the world. We've never gotten to the point as African Americans in our city and towns
Okay.
where we step forward and determine what our destiny and what our future is going to be like. But men all over the world do.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, again, we've come to the end of another great show, and we shall convene here another time, perhaps next Sunday at the same time. Please join us. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.